Moving right along to agenda item number 7, to consider adjustments to the solid waste rates, policies, practices, procedures, and operations. Votes may be taken. Mr. Coulter.
Good evening, Madam Chair. On behalf of the Solid Waste Working Group, I'd like to thank you and the members of the board for this opportunity to present our recommendations for changes to the solid waste operation and its rate structure. Madam Chair, earlier this year, I alerted the board to significant structural deficits in the FY24 budget for 3 enterprise fund accounts and in the solid waste department, which is not an enterprise account. The structural deficits impact free cash, limits on our ability to build our reserves, and threaten our bond rating. Upon disclosure of these serious financial issues, the board provided me with clear guidance with respect to the solid waste program. The board's instructions included the creation of a solid waste working group, the examination of historical financial data, the evaluation of standard operating procedures, and research on industry best practices that support our fiscal and environmental obligations. The board further directed that we schedule a public information session to inform residents of the scope and complexity of the solid waste problems. That session was held on April 13th. Considerable input was received from our residents at that time. Finally, the board held 2 rate hearings, which were rebroadcasted by SMAC more than 40 times. I'd like to thank SMAC for their cooperation and for their partnership in doing that. During those rate hearings, we received valuable and informative feedback from those in attendance. I'm pleased to say that the feedback we received has shaped the program that the Solid Waste Working Group is recommending to you this evening. Should you support this program and recommendation, I have taken the liberty of preparing a motion for members' consideration. I've broken this presentation down into 2 or 3 very simple areas, none of which the public has not seen in the past in previous presentations. I'd like to start with the major objectives that are the foundation of our proposals. They have not changed in many regards. As a reminder, those objectives which we intend to achieve: number 1, to fully extinguish the solid waste structural deficit in the FY25 budget. Let me explain that. We can't close the deficit in fiscal 24 because enacting the program October 1st only gives us 2 quarters of these changes. So the first full budget where this program is enacted, it's our goal to get to break even. That's our objective. Objective number 2, to improve roadside cleanliness and overall town appearance. 3, to separate and manage Stoughton's per capita household waste by separating residential waste from solid waste streams, i.e. furniture, white goods, etc. 4, to implement effective programs for inspectional services and program enforcement. An inspector will be beginning employment with our town, which has been budgeted for 2 years and unfilled, on August 7th. That person will be performing zoning enforcement services under the direction of Mr. Tisdale, but for the first 90 days, we'll be coaching, teaching, working with our teams to educate and bring awareness to the public with regard to the separation of waste streams. He'll be driving around to every planned pickup site every day, knocking on doors and sharing information. 4th objective, to implement effective programs, for program enforcement. We will be partnering with Stoughton's law enforcement police department, and we will be stopping at the borders, illegal dumping wherever possible, and when we catch the people that are bringing that material into town, we will seek to prosecute them under the full extent of the law. The 5th objective, to increase recycling efforts by promoting education and awareness to all Stoughton residents. Those have been our objectives from the beginning, and they remain our objectives today. Here are the key components of the action plan, which I know our residents are waiting to hear. This presentation will be provided in the back. I believe it is provided in the back. If not, it will be. And it matches up exactly with the brochures at the back of the room. So no need to take notes. Beginning October 1st, The flat quarterly rate of $90 per household will be assessed for rubbish removal. It'll begin October 1st, and it'll be effective in the February 2024 billing.
And that's per quarter. Right?
That's per quarter. Thank you. We'll reevaluate the program next July 1st. We will take the actual 6 months of performance to reevaluate the rates to determine whether they should be adjusted up or down. The objective will remain for years to come to keep this program at break even. The second major step in the action plan, we will separate residential rubbish, white goods, and solid waste. The third objective, schedule pickup and publish rate for solid waste management, furniture, bedding, whites, etc. We will provide a phone number, a direct line to the program manager who will schedule the pickups of those materials. Those will not be included in the rubbish pickups. Number 4, senior eligibility has been set at 65 years old, and seniors will receive a 50% discount off of the rate. In fact, that's a modest decrease over what seniors are paying today. Number 5, owner-occupied homes that are held in trusts are eligible for this discount. Number 6, there will be premium rates charged for multiple family homes. A 2-family quarterly rate is $225. That's 2.5 times the unit rate. A 3-family quarterly rate is $360. That's 4 times the quarterly rate. Now, why is that? Because there's a turnover in residents all the time. It's where we have our greatest expense in labor and disposal costs. Number 7, there is no change in the existing rubbish and recycling curbside pickup schedule. Number 8, all rubbish put on the curb must be packed in a plastic bag of your choice or in a barrel of 32 gallons or less. We will not pick up rubbish on the curb that is not packaged in some way, either in a plastic bag of the homeowner's choice or in a plastic barrel. Why is that? A lot of the trash in town is from material blowing around off the curb into neighbors' yards, onto the streets. And the barrel should be covered. If it's in a plastic bag within the barrel, it doesn't need to be covered. So we're serious about beautifying Stoughton. And thank you, Bob, for mentioning that. We're very serious. So not only do we have to stop illegal dumping and putting material on curbs 4 days before their pickup, which we'll react to, but we've got to make sure it's secure in either a bag or a barrel. A bag of your choice, not one you have to purchase for the town of Stoughton. Number 9, looking to the future. The Solid Waste Working Group will invite the Community, Energy, and Sustainability Committee members and Climate Action Plan Committee members to engage in discussions regarding future program improvements. There were many recommendations made over the past 2 rate hearings that we're going to study, and we're going to do that in collaboration with those 2 committees. And finally, number 10, the Solid Waste Working Group will extend an open invitation to all town meeting reps to see if they choose to attend the monthly meetings where they can give their input. So that is the action plan. With respect to education and awareness, a short-term awareness and outreach strategy will be executed to inform residents of the program changes, rate increase, and fees for solid waste pickup and disposal. I want to review just a few of the elements of our communication plan. Number 1, the brochure you will find at the back of the room will be printed in English and in Portuguese and will be distributed widely across the town at stores, at the library, and the like. In the month of September, which is the month prior to the execution and kickoff of the plan, we're going to do 2 911 notification calls, bringing to people's attention that the program begins October 1st and that they should pick up a brochure so they understand the rate, the fee for services, and etc. Town Facebook will be loaded with the brochure and all pertinent information. We are considering mass mailing of the brochure to every resident. The only thing that may change that is the expense associated with a mass mailing, but we're looking to find that money in the budget. The new electronic billboard, which will be built in front of DPW, will list information every day on what route and to where to pick up that brochure. The town website will be updated every week. There will be an October public information session, which SMAC will cover and replay twice a week for 2 weeks. SMAC will interview the department head, who is Paul, and myself, so that we continue to get information out to the public. Number 9, we'll be doing a Council on Aging presentation. We're going to video that and play that on SMAC as well. And finally, we're going to engage the schools, community groups, and the general public, and including themselves in joining us in a town-wide cleanup day on October, where the DPW will be providing roll-off containers, barrels, plastic bags, and we try to give the town a real facelift before the winter months are upon us. Madam Chair, while I'm proud of the work performed by the Solid Waste Working Group, our work is not done. While we ask for your vote on this proposal so that we can implement the plan, we will continue to meet monthly to examine opportunities for the program improvements proposed by residents. Those programs, which we will examine at the request of residents, include pay-as-you-throw, a private pay rubbish program, use of drums and/or stickers, and the construction of a town-wide transfer station. We will invite town meeting members and the public interest groups to join the working group in its examination of alternative approaches to rubbish and solid waste management. I want to make clear before I get an aggressive email, the committee is not right now proposing any of those alternatives, but the public asked that we study those alternatives. So I don't want anybody to write and say that go into private pay. That's not our plan. But because members of the public asked us to research it, that's our responsibility, that's our duty. And next July, we will bring a report to this board summarizing the data we've uncovered on those options. And if the board instructs us, as you did here, to move forth with further examination, we'll do that, and we'll be ready for a mid-year recommendation on the rate and structure. In closing, I just want to remind everybody that the fees for solid waste removals for transportation and disposal, and the fee for white transportation, there is no disposal cost, has been and is listed in the brochure, and that hasn't changed. So, Madam Chair, I've taken the liberty, pending your deliberation or the board's deliberation, we've taken a shot with review of council on a motion, but certainly myself and the committee, the working group members, are happy to answer any questions that the members may have before asking for that vote. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Coulter. Does any board member have a question or comment? Mr. Carrara?
The only comment through you, Madam Chairman, to the town manager and the committee, 2029 is when we have to re-establish our rates with CMAS or Covanta, whatever you want to call it, this week. But that's when I think we'll be looking. Tom can report on it, but I don't think we have to worry about it because we're safe to that date. Because we have the same rate till that date. And by by them separating what we've done now should help us a lot and be able to sustain what we're doing till at least 2029 to find out if they are going forward still down there or changing another way. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Carrara. Mr. Coulter.
Madam Chair, I agree with Scott's point. That is the biggest expense in this program, is the user fee for the rubbish that we dispose of and the solid waste we bring to the C&D facility. However, there are other variables that we can't be certain of. In making projections for getting to break even, we don't know how many of our seniors are going to take advantage at 65 of this new discounted rate, that's going to impact our break even. We don't know how many multifamilies are going to turn to private pay pickup because their rates are going up significantly. It would have been anybody's guess. So we made assumptions on what we think the impact of those two policy changes will be, but we won't know until at least 2 full quarters of running the program what the hard numbers are. And that's why, although I agree with Scott completely that the biggest impact item is CMAS, those other variables could make a substantial swing for the good or the bad. And it's only something we can evaluate after actually running the program for 2 quarters. I know Scott agrees with that, or at least he better.
Are there any other questions or comments? My questions have been answered time and time again as I reflect on the public hearings and the information that was requested by our residents, by the citizens of the town of Stoughton, whether they were here, online, or on the phone, or email. You put together a nice first step at this serious, very serious issue. So I commend you and your team for doing that. And the idea that you're going to monitor this and you have set a time when you're going to specifically, we're going to put it on our calendar and pin it on for our agenda at the appropriate time. So we ensure fellow select board members and the audience that we are monitoring and we won't forget. So thank you so much for identifying a date, because a lot of times a lot of people say, oh yeah, we'll do it next year, but they don't set a specific date. That means it's open-ended, but you did differently. So thank you and your team for doing that. Anything else? Motion? Oh yes, Mr. Corey, please, feel free.
Before the vote, I just like to thank all the residents who showed up at the 2 meetings, for their time and input on the situation, and it shows great faith in their effort that their rights as citizens are working. We listened, we heard, we deliver now. Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion? Steve? Mm-hmm.
If you would like me to read the motion and then you could adopt it, Mr. Cavey, I move that that in accordance with General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 28C, and any other applicable authority, the board vote as follows. 1, to set the fees for the collection and disposal of bulky items as follows. A, fiberglass bathtub, $40 each. B, mattress, $60 each. C, box springs, $25 each. D, couch, $51 each. E, sleeper couch, $64 each. F, monitor and laptops, $20 each. G, televisions, $20 each. H, furniture larger than 4 feet by 4 feet, $45 each. I, furniture smaller than 4 feet by 4 feet, $31 each. J, electronics not otherwise specified, $20 each. 2, to set the rates for annual rubbish collection effective September 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 as follows. A, single-family homes, $90 per quarter. B, two-family homes, $220 per quarter. C, three-family homes, $360 per quarter. If a multifamily home is entirely occupied by a single family with members of such family living separately in each unit, the single-family home rate of $90 per quarter shall apply. Single-family households seeking this relief shall submit a request for the same with the town manager and shall provide such application and documentation as the town manager shall reasonably require. The town manager, in his or her sole discretion, uncontestable discretion, strike that. The town manager, in his or her sole uncontestable discretion, shall timely act on any such request, and the town manager's decision shall be final. 3, and further, to provide a 50% discount on all rates for residents 65 years of age and older in a single-family home, provided said resident occupies the residence being served and is an owner of said residence, whether or not said residence is owned in trust, provided the resident demonstrates eligibility under the Department of Revenue Informational Guideline Release Number 91-209. 4, to provide recycling collections twice monthly for properly separated recyclable items, provided that the department be directed to refuse to collect recyclable items which have been commingled with non-recyclable items, and provided such items are placed in a container labeled, quote, recyclables. 5, to prohibit the following items from being left for regular collection and to direct the department to refuse to collect such items. A, home construction, repair or demolition materials, including but not limited to sheetrock, shingles, lumber, fences, carpeting, rugs, and other like materials. B, logs, stumps, brush, branches, and other yard waste. C, rocks, dirt, concrete, asphalt, sand, gravel, and other similar materials. D, pallets and skids. E, hot coals or embers. F, tires. G, motor oil. H, bathroom fixtures, including but not limited to toilets, sinks, tubs. I, animal excrement. J, 50 or 55-gallon drums. K, car parts. L, furniture. M, mattresses. N, TVs, monitors, printers, or other electronics. O, fluorescent light bulbs. 6, to provide collection and disposal of bulky metal objects at a fee of $30 per item. You're going to make amendment, right? Oh, I apologize, one more. 7, the board, A, hereby delegates to and authorizes the town manager in his or her sole uncontestable discretion the authority to grant abatements in full or in part to any of the above upon proper application, provided that any such abatement does not conflict with state law, that the applicant demonstrates a unique hardship, financial or otherwise, and that such abatements are in the public interest and the enforcement of the fee would otherwise do manifest injustice. The town manager shall timely act on such requests, and the town manager's decision shall be final. And B, hereby requires the town manager to record and preserve for 3 years the record of each abatement in a form readily available for public view. End.
Thank you. I would like to adopt that motion with the following minor amendment. Item 2, to set the rates for annual rubbish collection effective October 1st rather than September 1st, 2023 through July 30th, 2024, as follows.
Second.
All in favor, and we'll do this by roll call vote? Yes. Mr. McCrisky?
Yes.
Vice Chair Cavey?
Yes.
Mr. Crowder?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. It's a unanimous decision.
Thank you, members. We appreciate it.
Thank you.